All right, everybody, that's right. It's Indie Comic News with your host, Chuck Pineau. I love these banners. They have really come in handy already. All right, guys, what's going on? Doing great. Uh, Once again, I'm holding my tablet while doing this, so it's gonna get a little shaky. It's gonna be like a terrible version of Blair Witch, only with the most handsome MFers you've ever met in the indie comic world. So let's go into this right now and see what is going on in indie news right away. I don't know why that's there. All right. Congratulations to Conceptual Heist Chapter 3 for stealing fandom off of Kickstarter. Man, I can't say this enough. I love when somebody gets off of Kickstarter. So way to go to the entire team of Conceptual Heist. That's just fantastic. So happy for you guys. So proud of you guys. Every time another Kickstarter funds, it's great for everybody. Comic-Con Highway exiting with Indie Advocating in the South. Maryland, Baltimore. Here comes Indie Advocates and Mr. Anderson. He's going to be in Baltimore. Man, that guy is stretching. Like, I mean, and I don't mean that in any bad way at all. Just for a dude in Florida, getting all the way out to Maryland, like, good for you, dude. Light Earth, the first Warvac TPB, collecting issues 0 through 3 of J.R. Blanton's science fiction fantasy epic. That looks pretty kick-ass. Something to check out. There's my dog. He's being a bit of a silly butt. Sometimes you have to help the wrong people. A throwback thread. I mean, this is Rob was doing these a lot earlier on in the day. They're always great to check out and see where he's at and what's going on. Learn something because he's been through a lot. He's done a lot, and so anything you can pick up from him can't hurt. Get the rope approved and soon to be the only rope used by creator of Fetish Babies, Mr. Henderson, the diamond rope and dyed 1/4-inch nylon rope. No idea what the fuck to say about that. And I mean this in no terrible way whatsoever. I love it. I mean, I just think it's great. It's kind of when kicker for what was he doing the kicker for? For Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies, and one of his stretch goals was to get everybody air fresheners, and I'm like, man, that's brilliant. It just so I love that he's doing this. I can honestly say I'm probably not going to be buying me any of those ropes, but I mean, cool stuff, man. And wouldn't it be awesome to have like be able to see like Barbara on there or something? I don't know, or have it say Fetish Babies, Fetish Babies, Fetish Babies all over it. I think that'd be great. Anyways, let's move on. Listen, a children's picture book about children's books that teaches not just kids the power of showing love to one another by simply listening. I think that there's an awful lot of adults that could use that book, so hopefully if we're training our kids to do that, that's just fantastic. So terrific. Franklin and Ghost, Live Free or Fox Hard, a 60-page graphic novel by Garrett Gunn and Nicholas Touris with aliens, spaceships, and general fuckery. Guys, they had me at fuckery. They just did. That's one of my words. I love me some fuckery. Congrats to Cadavers, World Gone to Hell for digging up success on Kickstarter. Again, always great to see more stuff get out of Kickstarter. Terrific. Way to go, Cadavers. Congrats to Sci-Fi's 2018, a comic book anthology for all of its success. I don't know what kind of success they had, but why don't we look into that real quick? Oh, he right-clicked like a jackass. Other people, some other handsome folks up there. Okay, so let's see what this is. Get your copy of Sci-Fi's by clicking here. Want your Comic-Con or other? Oh, okay. That's it. So it's The 2018 edition of the Sci-Fi's Anthology, a collection of 8 comic book science fiction stories from today's freshest voices. So that's stories from Paul Bradford, Claire Connolly, Meredith Moriarty, Matt Kelly, Robert Sidaro, Tu Sorensen, Marta Tenrikulu, and Lin Yoshi. Cool. All right. Good stuff, gang. Keep an eye out for that for sure. Congratulations to the White Widow #1 team for all their success on Kickstarter. I didn't even hear about this one, but good. I mean, way to go, guys. That's really cool stuff. She's got a real like Spider-Gwen look. Is it just me? Check that out. And I'm not calling anyone out. I'm not saying any bullshit. I'm just stating she's got some Spider-Gwen look to her, but I would really love to see what she is like. Like I said, I've never heard of this one, so congratulations to them. No Gravity boss J.R. Blanton's written Sins file, a throwback thread. So J.R. is doing some stuff now, and he did some stuff back then. We have the Indie Advocates Workshop at Daytona Comic Con, November 4th, 2018. Artist to follow, Raheel Mohsin, who is doing all sorts of great stuff. I actually saw him trying out some different styles. It was very cool. Plus, he also is one of the two creators behind Cat Dad Supermom, which is super cool. And then, never mind the furthermore, PendCon recaps Saluki Con approaches. And that, of course, is Brian K. Morris, who he has his video every week, and I think we've started showing them on here as well, so that's really cool. Video Week, Controversy Creates Cash, a Martin Dunn podcast. That's a throwback thread. I mean, we've seen lots of controversy, even just in the last 6 months to year and more, so, you know, if it makes cash, I'm sure someone out there is making a shit ton of it. Guano Guy comic. Guano Guy is like Seinfeld with superpowers. It's full of sarcasm, witty banter, and pouches. Very cool. Pouches, so they probably have Rob Liefeld as one of their artists. Oh, snap. Crossers Gate #1 and 2. Crossers Gate is Silent Hill meets Persona, a high-octane action horror saga. This is done by Travis Martinez and, I believe it's Travis Martinez. Actually, I could be wrong on that shit. But it's definitely done by Shane Morrison, who is a good dude, and he also was behind Beast King. So he's getting a bunch of stuff out there. Good for him. And this one only has a couple days left, and I think they're hovering around 80% or so. So whatever you can do to help them out and check out a cool horror book, I think you should try. Daisy Chain issue 1 tells the story of Jessica Frazier, a wealthy, attractive socialite that just so happens to be a serial killer. That is bloody as crap. And let's be honest, boys, kind of hot too. And girls, hey, I don't care what you're into. Enjoy it, that's what I say. Drea, Queen of Thieves, #2, a fantasy adventure. The second issue collecting the digital webbing presents stories featuring the Lost feature story in full color for the first time. We got Dragon Con 18 media coverage from Indie Advocates by Jedi Mom Photography. We got This Week in Indie Comics in less than 5 minutes. The same thing again. The biggest event at New York Comic Con for creators is Comic Book School Panel Block. We got the Kickstarter talk, which had Cadavers, White Widows, and Conceptual Heists, which is kind of funny because they're all done and they've kicked ass, so that's cool. A hard truth about expectations from your friends, from your friends list while running a Kickstarter, a throwback thread. I believe it looks like this might have been done, by Russell Nolte, who he puts up a lot of great advice and information and whatnot, so that's something worth taking a look at. This is about Indie Advocates. We do interviews, art of the day, a home for creators. We are a free site. We do live videos. Yeah. And talk shows. We promote indie comics, etc., etc., etc. We're here to promote in any way we possibly can. We want good stuff for you and good stuff for all. So that's what we do. Light Chasers issue 2 and Design Edition, the continuation of the Light Chasers story. You got Mississippi Zombie, a one-shot anthology horror comic about a zombie outbreak in Mississippi. I don't know a lot of people on this, but I've seen a lot of work. My dude, Sean Barber, has been doing some work on this, and it looks pretty kick-ass. So that's really cool. The Gatherer, Volume 1, for 80s cult horror fans. A meteorite falls down on the outskirts of New York City, bringing a deadly alien threat inside, with art from Marvel artist Cabrol. Did you hear that little tongue roll of mine? I've been working on it. My wife is very happy. Jolly Jane #1, created by Russ Rollins and Jeff Kaufman. What happens when a paramedic gets possessed by the spirit of a serial killer? Find out in this amazing 44-page comic book. Dude, that's a kind of neat idea. A paramedic who is someone that heals and a serial killer put together. Like, what do you do with that? That's all right, cool. That's something to take a look at. The creative process. You're killing your career being online without a filter. I mean, I haven't read this, but I can tell you already, yeah, I think you do need to kind of filter yourself and take into mind what you put out there. And I mean, I think we should do that just in life anyways. Join the advocating Facebook group. Into the Suck #3, a sci-fi adventure comic book. Into the Suck 3 is the third issue of the inaugural 6-issue miniseries by writer Keith Thomas and artist C.B. Zane. And I've seen C.B. Zane work on some other stuff with our boy Rob Anderson, and I don't know if I can go into it too much. I will just say that the art that I saw looked pretty fucking awesome. So they got some stuff that you will see down the line. Suicide prevention superhero comic. Leap Leap is a comic that shows the devastation of suicide by showing the grieving process of Patrick, who decides to become a superhero. We got Shawnee Shoe Hands, Ready, Set, Go. And this was actually a kind of a superhero book about a young boy who has autism. So that is a pretty cool and terrific idea. Something to take a look at. Especially for those of us who support autism awareness and all that kind of stuff. That, I mean, it's something you want to keep your eyes out for. This group has collectively worked on Star Wars, Transformers, Deadpool. Okay, so this is something from back in the day, a throwback thread. Engard is here to protect you. Sorry, it's getting really... I'm going to go up closer. Mickey Clausen will do lines, colors, and letter Engard. This is another throwback thread. We got some more Nevermind the Furthermore. Let's check out page 2. We're going to do just a little bit more before I sign off for the day. And as this load, how are you guys doing? What's going on? Life treating you good? Yeah? Okay, cool. Here's some more really cool people up here. What a mishmash. We've got like a lovely gentleman here in a suit ready to take care of things, and then a metalhead, and there's your spectrum right there. So that, I mean, that pretty much, that's a really good cross section of what you can expect to see at a convention, is anything in that area, and hopefully some ladies and some people of color as well. Okay, T-Man and Hyperstrike, a comic book about Tourette's and ADHD. A comic book about superheroes with Tourette syndrome and ADHD. Printing a 24-page black and white comic book. Stan Lee, advice for comic writers and other artists. I mean, that's something worth checking out. The Comic-Con Highway Weekend Forecast. Mega and International Forecast. Ruby and the Warriors of Dion, #2. An epic fantasy tale about a young mage on a quest for vengeance. I actually did a review of #1 recently. It was a good book. It was solid. If you want to check out Chuck's Raw Reviews, you can check out what I have to say about the first book. And if you like it and you think that would work for you, you can then go and check out the second. 100 days. For 100 consecutive days, I must write at least 100 words about anything. And let me tell you, I talk about tons of stuff. I would imagine, like, if you have to do 100 words a day, I mean, I'm sure on some points, some days you're going to do amazing stuff, and some days you're just going to talk some shit. The Changeling Into the Lungs of Hell. on the Changeling Into the Lungs of Hell is a 68-page trade paperback collecting the first three issues of the Changeling. I know that they funded really, really quick, so you will be able to check out their stuff, and they're definitely into their stretch goals. So there will be a lot to get for your money's worth. Excuse me, guys. There's some more on Conceptual Heist, which we know now has already funded. New fall programming changes for our Advocating Video Network. Definitely check that out. There's a lot going on. You'll still have to deal with me on Mondays, and there's more stuff we're hoping to do. Like we talked about it last week, hoping to do some roundtable stuff and all that kind of thing. So we got that, and we got indie previews. Kane 2. I'm sure Kane 1 is probably on there too. A Dirk setting on the Business of Art podcast. Creative process, creating an online marathon. And you know what, guys? I do have a phone call, but I am going to call that a day. Thank you so much. Enjoy the news, and peace, love, and comics.